Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm with the 2021 Toyota Supra. As usual, I can get the greatest cars ever. I can never get good sound quality. Go figure. Every one of my lapel mics decided not to work today. Regardless, this works awesome. So what we're looking at is the 6-cylinder model of the Toyota Supra. It is a beautiful car. Just get a load of this color. I love this color. It's such a great color. And it's just a nicely shaped, beautiful car to look at. It's wonderful to sit behind the wheel and drive it. Right off the bat, I have to say this is basically a BMW. Most people will immediately pan it because they'll say it's just a BMW with Toyota badges on it. That's kind of true. It does have some Toyota stuff. The styling is mostly is Toyota and a few other things, but it is not. Honestly, I think it's better for being having all of that BMW underneath because, to be really frank, Toyota does not make race cars. They don't make sports cars. They don't make race cars. You can try to name all the ones in the past that you want, and comparatively, they just weren't that good. Sorry, MR2 fans, but it's the truth. So, battling through the wind, I'm trying to keep my body facing the wind so that I can talk. What we have is a really well done sports car. You have a wonderful inline 6 underneath there. You have a great transmission that shifts very, very fast. You have this beautiful bodywork to create all of these lines. I'll move the camera around the car a little bit as we go to give you an idea. You have this clamshell over the front that houses this very large engine under here and a lot of cooling in the front. It's a beautiful design, though. It just looks really good. Let's move around to the side, and I'll talk a little bit more about the wheels and the overall shape of the car and what they did as far as design. And then also I will point out a few of the things with this car that are really, really cool, and of course we'll look at a Monroney. So let's get to it. So looking at the car from the side, you can see just that wonderful profile I was talking about. It's so good looking. This is a very small sports car, but it is a very, very well balanced sports car. So it is rear-wheel drive by design, and you can see that the hood is very, very long. It's saloon style, dips very rapidly towards the front, gives you lots of visibility, and then it just kind of flows backwards until you get to that clipped rear end. Now this is a hatch, so this is a two-door hatch. It is not a two-door with a trunk. The trunk opening, when you open the hatch, goes all the way through to the front. Two-seater, like I said, and just look at the aggressive lines on this. So let me walk into the frame, give you an idea of I just realized I'm wearing an orange shirt and that clashes. I should have like Fader Nowie or somebody as like fashion advice. But regardless, let's look at the lines on the car. So like I talked about, very steep, fast-moving hood, right? Big humps in the front, but it doesn't hump in the middle. It carries over that way. Strong lines across here. These are faux. They're not real vents here, but they look really good in their placement. And then they're coming across, and you can see the body shape is mostly round. So lots of round with a light shelf right here that gets thinner as you go back. So the light shelf starts way up here. It grows to about maybe 2 fingers of width, and then it gets thinner and disappears right here. This is also faux, but it would be a brake cooler running to the back. And just a wonderful, it creates this big fat hump that accentuates this huge rear end. So this is a rear-driven car, and they want the muscle to look back here. So they want the haunches to look really muscular. And that does the job right here. So you can see how these body lines run. Now, as you're watching the roof line, you can see it's a fairly steep A-pillar, a little steeper than you would expect on a sports car. You'd expect it to be back a little further. It's up a little bit more. But that's a beautiful look because what it does is creates this seamless run and then allows this roof to dip. So the roof here is actually lower by about 1/4 of an inch from this bodywork here, which is really cool because it creates this aero look. It creates like an aerodynamic feel to the whole car. And then of course, the aero line right in the middle, which is for stability in GT racing, is accentuated up here because of that. And then it just flows really smoothly all the way back. You see this is built in. I don't know how functional it is. I'm sure in the air tunnel it has some function, but I don't think it's pushing down that much. I think it's mostly for dispersion on the back and the look. So you can see it creates this large look back here, and then this is really accentuated because of the way it stands up off of these. So wonderful look. We'll look at the back of the car in a minute because also really worth looking at, really cool looking. But just the overall design is very, very sleek. So from the front of the car, you were seeing the way the grille and everything is really kind of downplayed and smushed to create that really fast forward nose. And so when we get to the back, you'll see how aggressively they made the back to compensate for that. So at the back of the Supra here, you can see they just did a wonderful job of creating these different layers that makes an overall kind of bulky rear end that looks really, really sleek and sporty despite being so bulky. So you have the headlights or the taillights that are sticking out a little bit, and they have a shelf. You can see how accented this is now, and then it comes down. You have the lights down there, and you have the exhausts, which are dual exhausts, and they're functioning, and you have kind of this overall speed look back here with the shape as the window comes down, and it does that. Just a wonderful design back here. Now, a couple things to point out for practical reasons. One, I find no buttons anywhere on here to open the hatch. So the only ways I know of are with the button that's on the driver's side door on the lower portion, or if you take the key fob and you hold down that trunk button. When you do that, opens this hatch, and you have a fairly good, I'll show you some pictures, a fairly good storage space back here. It does pass through, but only marginally because there are huge speakers and subwoofers right behind those seats. This cover pops off, so these just come loose. You just pop them off, and you can take this out. So if this is in the way and you need a little more space, you can do that. But again, this is a sports car, not a practical car. Okay, so, but you can use this as an excuse. We did get a week's worth of groceries in here. So if you do need an excuse for the spouse or somebody, there you go. Looking at the front of the car, you can see what I was talking about as far as the design goes. So I kind of yammered on about it, and now you can know why. Let's go through some numbers. I'll show you Monroney real quick. So 3-liter twin-scroll turbo inline-6, 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic with paddle shifting, and it's rear-wheel drive and has launch control. So it's a very performance-oriented car. The equivalent to this in the BMW lineup that it has a lot of commonality with is the Z4. So lots of great stuff. There are some extras on this, a couple of things. There's the driver assist package, and I think the color or cargo mat costs more, but that's it. And total price tag is $57,185 with delivery. That's not horrible. I think I would pay that. Looking at 30 miles a gallon on the highway, you will get that all day. As long as you don't have a lead foot, you can get that number. Even at altitude, I'm at 6,400 feet here. So, wonderful, wonderful car. Really nice to drive. I've really enjoyed this car. The just 2021 Toyota Supra. Such a beautiful car. That's about all I got. Talk to you again soon. Subscribe.